All right, welcome back to Module 8 of the wholesaling class. In this module, we're going to be talking about funding. Now, obviously, the reason that wholesaling is attractive as a real estate investing strategy is because oftentimes it doesn't require funding for you to be able to make money in real estate investing, but sometimes that's important. And it's definitely going to be important to your buyer. So let's dive in and let's talk about funding. But as we do with every module, before we dive into the content, I got to give you the disclosure. I'm not a licensed attorney, accountant, financial advisor, real estate broker, real estate agent, or any other licensed individual. I am just a student, just like you. These are just strategies that I have honed over the last 7 years of being a real estate investor, and I've had a lot of success with them, and I want to pass that along to you. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, this is going to be a short section. We're only going to talk about a few things here because, like I said, wholesaling, the best way to wholesale is not having to have funding as a wholesaler. But, you know, there are times where you kind of have to have that in mind, and you definitely have to have it in mind for your buyer. So let's talk about that. There's a number of ways that you can line up funding for your wholesale deal. One of my favorite ways is seller financing. If I find a seller finance deal, a lot of times I'll just take that deal because it only requires a minimal amount of money down or even sometimes no money down, and you can just take over the previous owner's mortgage. We talk a lot about that in the funding deals using other people's money, as well as the buy and hold class. So you can get more information on that there. I recommend that you get familiar with those strategies because those are things that your buyers are going to have questions about, and you need to be knowledgeable around it. Buyer funding, that's probably the most common way. That's how you do it without any money out of your pocket, right? Is making sure that the buyer has the funding lined up. Your credit. This is a tough one because I don't often recommend that people use their credit, but you know what? Sometimes to get a deal done, you got to do what it takes, right? And sometimes that might mean that you have to use your credit. So look into that as an option. Obviously, you need a decent credit score to do that. If you don't have a decent credit score, then that may not be an option, and that's okay. That just means that you got to pass on those deals that would require your credit to be used, or you have to find a credit partner to come in to make that deal happen. Hard money. This is a great resource to have, especially when it comes, excuse me, especially when it comes to the dual close scenario. We talked about that a couple of modules ago. Obviously the desirable way to do a wholesale is through assignment, where you don't have to close on the property, just the buyer can directly close on the property from the seller, and you just kind of orchestrate everything. But in some states that's illegal, and in some scenarios it just doesn't work. So the alternative to that would be a dual close, where you actually close on the property and then turn around, and usually in the same sitting at the title company, you close again, hence the name dual close, and sell the property to the end buyer or the investor that you're selling that wholesale to. Now, with hard money, one suggestion that I have is find a hard money lender and build a relationship with a hard money lender that knows that you're a wholesaler and knows that in the case of you needing money from that person, that you are going to be turning around and most likely dual closing in the event that you do need to borrow their money. One of the things that I have done in the past is I've worked out with the hard money lender that the note that they work into the language of their loan, that, or in other words, the note, right, is the contract for a loan, that the loan is transferable to another investor. So most hard money lenders are going to want, they'll be okay with that, but they're going to want to make sure that the other investor is credit worthy. So don't be surprised if they say, yeah, we're willing to do that, just contingent upon the credit worthiness of the end investor. So, but to set that up, that allows you to get one set of hard money and get that loan in place, and then just transfer that same loan to the new buyer, to your buyer, that's going to go execute the transaction on the back end. Now, that is important because in every state, you have to have different sets of money in order to close. So you can't use the same, if you got to do a dual close, you can't use the same money that the buyer is going to use. You have to have a separate set of money to close the first time, and then turn around and the buyer uses their money to purchase the property. But in the case of a loan, like from a hard money lender, as long as the language of that loan says that it is transferable, that's permissible. By law, you can move that over. Now, you are going to want to verify that in your state because that's just on a federal level, but on a state level, you're going to want to verify that that's okay to do. In most states, I think that's okay. But that is a fantastic way to be able to raise money once and pass that money along to the end user. It also creates more value in your wholesale, so you can potentially charge more as a wholesale fee. Using other people's money is awesome. We've got a whole course on that you can go review, so I'm not going to hash out a lot of the details there. Go check out the Funding Deals Using Other People's Money course to get more details on that. So that wraps up the different types of funding and why it's important to have funding in place. I told you this was going to be a short module, and I delivered on that promise. But that wraps up Module 8. The next module and the last module that we're going to be going into for this class is once you have a deal and you've got a product that you need to sell, how do you market that to buyers? And that's what we're going to cover in the last module of this class, Module 9. I will see you guys in that module.